I'm coming to you, live, man. What's up, everybody? Today is a new day. The Lord is made, and I'll rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning, y'all. How's it going? Before we start off, I do want to give a little shout out to Sheldon and Jada Covington for the I'm Possible brand right there. So the impossible, I'm possible. Remember, everything is possible through Jesus Christ at the end of the day. Great brand, great people. Um, so a little shout out to them before we get into it. The nitty gritty, as I like to say. Again, it's another day we don't have Cody Woe here with us. He is recovering from the COVID, the vid. So we wish him the best, that he heals up quick and we get him back here and get his valued opinion as a member of our two-person team. As you see, Cody Woe, he is with us, and not just Tom. We are a duo, a group, a gang. No gang affiliation. That's wrong terms. I am not gang. I do not gang bang. But what's up, Vol Nation? And also, you can find me over at Vol for Life Uncensored. If you ain't kicking it over there and you're a Vol fan, I don't know what you are missing out on, but you're missing out on a lot. I'll just say that. To everybody else, good morning, as Kanye says. Let's get into it, man. I was looking at it, the FCS Championship. With the FBS Championship coming up between Michigan and Washington. That's the people we forget about, the little guys over there, the Montana Grizz and South Dakota State. I don't know if y'all watch it, but there's some powerhouses over there. Them Dakota boys are powerhouses out there. If you haven't looked at the last few years of the way the nature of the beast is out there, them guys can ball. And if you're sleeping on them, then I hope you toss and turn because that's some good football to look out for. I know it's at the FCS level, and a lot of us guys and gals overlook the FCS level. And also, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm getting this shared out. It's my podcast, and I can do whatever I choose to do with it. If I'm looking down the whole thing, then I guess I'll be looking down the whole thing. But no, you take some time to check out that game on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. The Montana Grizz with South Dakota State, which is kind of cool. Like I said, we don't give a lot of love to those FCS guys out there. We're so focused on the big leagues, and it's still football. Football is football, and I can watch any type of football: XFL, CFL, AFL, NFL, whatever it has to. A little bit rugby at the same sense. Football, people getting hit, I enjoy it, but no, make sure you go check that out and give those guys some love because they can still make it to the league. The Jackrabbits taking on the Grizz Sunday, 2 p.m. Montana versus South Dakota State. 14-0 South Dakota State might take another one. Like I said, those guys are powerhouses in the Dakota for some reason. Ain't much there. So they enjoy their football and they're good at it. As I continue to get this out to everybody, you got some news coming out of Oklahoma. I'd be doing an injustice if I wasn't posting. I mean, speaking about them, they lost a coordinator, which ain't the bad thing. Ain't the worst thing in nature. Their defense has always been something people will look out for. And they also lost Coach Levy too, so it's kind of big swing for them. How we're going to see how that turns out for them during this season as they make this transition into the I keep wanting to say big leagues, but it's not the big leagues. That's the SEC. Transition to the SEC, losing a coordinator is kind of a big thing. It's something not to be trifled with. So whoever they bring in at this point, hopefully, he's helping them step up the game. That aspect, the offense is very efficient. I mean, they're losing a solid quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, but Jackson Arnold was on that same wave with the Nikos Iyama. Whoa, Iyama, I done forgot the name already. Don't blame me. It takes, if you don't say it enough, it kind of goes, and you want to go off of how it looks. I know it's not Nico Lama, but it's yeah, we're going Nico. Jackson Arnold, Nico, Arch Manning. The rest of them guys, they were coming in on that same wave. So it's time to see a new kind of generation of these quarterbacks that are going to be coming up. We're losing a lot of the guys we've been hearing for the last 6-7 years. Even though Dylan Gabriel is not gone just yet, Caleb Williams are not gone just yet. We're expecting Caleb to go to the NFL and do pretty good in that draft. We're expecting Dylan Gabriel to go up to Oregon and see what he's got going on and competing for that spot, because we know we have multiple quarterbacks going to the same school who were starters at the previous school. I digress. We'll see how that works out for him. But no, Oklahoma making that transition and losing a lot of key aspects of their team. Uh, we'll see how that works out for them. You know, Tennessee's taking on Oklahoma in Norman this year, and I am excited for that. But I will say I am a little worried about the Vols with a lot of the pieces we're missing uh, over this upcoming season. A lot of the guys who, though our defense wasn't the best, we had a really good run stuff game. And then same thing with offense, having those seasoned veterans on that line, losing them like Mincy, if you haven't caught that here recently, has hit the portal, leaving room for somebody else to step up their game. You know, we had the Mays boys down there for a while, Cooper Cade. Now we're starting to fill in some spots. Ali, you know, he's not the most consistent at times, but it's still having that veteran on the line, having these people on the line that you're used to seeing take these snaps and that they're used to playing with, having that transition into some new guys. I guess that's the nature of the beast at the end of the day, right? That's what you got to deal with, and this ever-changing landscape of college football, especially with the transfer portal. A lot of these people are leaving and headed on about their business, which is cool. Go get your money, especially the guys who have been here 4 years plus. Usually, you hear, say 5, 6, 7 years ago, for the next 3 to 4 years, I will be playing at the University of blah blah blah, right? So to see these guys leaving after 4 years, you get used to it. But now we've kind of grown accustomed to these guys playing 6, 7 years or 5, 6 years. And then after 6 years or 5 years, they leave to go to another school. And people are like, why you transferred? And especially in our Vol group, you know, I'm over at Vol for Life Uncensored. If you guys are not in that group, you don't know what you're missing. A lot of good conversation, a lot of opinionated people in there. I will say that. But no, and this is just not the Vols in general, but everybody in general. People leave after 4 or 5 years, and people kind of like dumbfounded, like, why are you transferring? You're not a true Vol, you're not a true Boomer Sooner, you're not a true long, whatever it is. The fans get pissed off seeing these players leave and not realizing that, dog, they've been here for daggum 5 years. They've graduated. That you've given your all to the school at this point in time. Yes, I hate to see any talented player leave, right? You don't want to see that. You don't want to see your guys going and people get upset about it. But at some point in time, you got to realize if you've given your all, you've given as much as you can give, and you got to go. And that's cool. If you got to leave, if you feel like you need to do better for your career to advance, you go to another school, that's fine. As long as you don't go to a peer rival school. Like, as long as you don't leave Tennessee, then go play for Alabama or Georgia or Florida, or like a Henry Toto type player. You get what I'm saying? Or you don't leave Oklahoma and go to a Texas, or Alabama and go to Auburn. Like, I doubt you will go to Auburn. But the point remains the same. You don't leave your team to go to a rival that you've fought with, probably in some of these scuffles before and after games, to go do something like that. It's just it's grimy and it's dirty, and that will get you a bunch of pissed off fans. But after 4, 5, 6 years of playing that team, you want to go your last year to hope to get a little bit of a championship, or hope to maybe see something different, or get a little money in your pocket before you go. I can't knock it. So do you, as I said, what's it say? Do you, boo boo? I mean, do you, big dog? Do what makes you happy. But back shifting focus to the priority is always, for me personally, them Vols, and I'll make sure I'm getting into it with Oklahoma. And up there's Cody. Well, let's see if we can get him in here. Recording. Cool. But no, being able to have that transition, lost my train of thought. That transition from player to player, I think it's kind of good, and it shows a caliber. Shows the caliber of coach you have, especially for Tennessee. After we whooped on Iowa, I mean, it wasn't even. I thought the game would be a little bit more competitive, honestly. Actually, that's a lie. I didn't, and I kind of called it. If you watch it a little bit, I kind of called the nature of how it might go, with the fact that uh, Iowa was a top-ranked defense against the Big Ten, and their lower class, besides Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. Penn State, Ohio State, left to be determined, but Michigan being the best team over there. Everybody else is very subpar. So losing a lot of players on your team and thinking you're going to compete at the same level with a higher caliber SEC team, even though we've lost people, you done bumped your head. And I didn't think they would do good at all, but we saw a lot of Nico, though we didn't get to see a lot of passing touchdowns from him, one of which was wide open and dropped. I'm waiting for a new DC. It's annoyed today. Cody Woe, like I said, he might be here, but he ain't feeling too good. And he also said he's waiting to see what's up with the new defensive coordinator. To see get that news put out there, which is cool. We can always record. It's our podcast. We record as much as we want. But no, Nico looked fantastic out there. We got to see his legs. We got to see what we're missing with Joe, what we thought Joe was going to be able to offer to us, right? In that transition, we knew that he had the gun. We knew he was going to sling it a million miles. And that's what we wanted from Joe. But we thought in the transition of Joe that he was going to use his legs, and he didn't so much. I mean, he trucked a few people, great. But that's not what we need. We need somebody dynamic. We need that Hendon Hooker. We need that Josh Dobbs. Those people that are electric, right? And that's what made Tennessee very much an offensive weapon during that time, the 10-2 season that we saw as Hendon Hooker's dynamic aspect he brought to it. His legs, Josh Dobbs, their legs. They were able to get out of that pocket because Tennessee is not known for having the best offensive line. We've had some studs come out of the defensive line now, right? Barnett, as we saw, Pierce now. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but we got us a diamond in the rough with Pierce. So be ready for that. But no, our offensive line's never been touted to be the best in the SEC. I mean, they chop suey sometimes. So those quarterbacks gotta get up out of there. But having Nico be in a position to move out of that pocket and throw on a run, that's what we're missing with Joe. Joe cannot throw on the run by any means, man. I don't think Joe completed maybe one his entire career throw while he's moving as a touchdown. Yeah, he's completed throws, but touchdown passes, he might have one. I dare say none. And Joe isn't that type of person, but Nico, seeing him play, seeing the way he moves in and out of that pocket, senses the pressure. I think Tennessee is honestly poised, and I'll make my early bets. I'm good at making the bets pretty early for the nature of the beast with the Vols. You know, I was pretty good about calling all the SEC plays a while back with the basketball and then baseball. But no, I could see Tennessee competing for a spot in the playoff next year, if not guaranteed almost. Especially if we keep these weapons that are coming, the guys who have committed, as long as they get there and not try to leave like old boy did for us a few years back, where he committed. He left Wyoming, committed to Tennessee, came to the school, and then left and transferred to Texas just to go get hurt. Never wish injury on anybody, but if there's a circumstance where somebody's going to get hurt and karma's a mug, karma told you he's doing something grimy, and you get what you get at the end of the day. But no, I'm excited for a lot of these young cats we got coming up. Hype and Banks have been doing fantastic job getting the recruiting in, trying to build up these weapons that we're losing. The McCulloughs were losing, the Slaughters were losing, some of these guys that have been here for a while. McCullough's going to the league. Hopefully he does great in there. You know, Williams, we never got to really see him outside of the return game, but losing players that we saw as dynamic. And you hate to lose them at the end of the day. Great people make plays, but these guys that are coming up, the Boo Carters, I'm hoping to see some Tre'Davian Bradley. I've said his name over and over again. I've still yet to see him put out anything great, but the Jordan Rosses, Tre'Davian Bradleys, the Farouks, these cats like that, being able to see them get some PT, especially during the spring game, we're gonna see what these guys have to offer right there, and I'm excited for it. I couldn't be more excited about that. And then same thing with Oklahoma. I'm watching those guys. You know, I'm not a fan, but I still respect it. I'm watching them because of Cody Will, and I respect the talent that they offer. And you know, we got to get our get back in Norman this year. Should be at the game, and I think we look good this year. I will say that, man. What we have to offer, it looks good. I mean, everything looks good on paper. At the end of the day, you look down and like, dang, this team could win 11 games, win 10 games, win 12-0. We have the potential to do stuff like that, but are we going to do it? Lord knows. I just wish for the best, but no, we are set up to look good and to be able to compete this year. I was looking at a list earlier. It was ESPN Plus MVPs for every 2023 top 25 college teams, and they kind of went through the list with some of those, and they were talking about on the list. They were talking about people who could be in contention next year with some of these MVPs, And the name I saw that kind of like surprised me a little bit on that was Carson Beck, right? Him coming back, they're saying they were like, will Carson Beck be a contender for the 24 Heisman? And that's still wild to me that they think Carson Beck was that caliber of player. Yes, he got them there, but I don't think it was really him that did all that. I'm seeing Brock Bowers out there showing out, standing on his head. I'm seeing Lad McConkey do that. I'm seeing Milton, who gets started slow. Was it Milton? Yeah, Milton out there doing stuff for them. But Beckham, I mean, I don't think so. But I'll tell you who will be on that list. I'll tell you somebody who is dynamic as long as we have the weapons with Brew McCoy coming back, Brew coming back to the balls, Nico. And if you don't think so, I hope they sleep on him. I hope you overlook him. Even Nico, who will get a Vol a reason to pay attention to the Heisman again, right? I think we have another situation with that Hendon Hooker. As long as we get the weapons in him, boy, score right. You got to turn to that Jalen Hyatt, man. Be that dynamic. And Nico, just do what you've been doing, man. Do what we've seen. And I think we'll be all right, personally. But no, man, I just want to hop on here and get my opinions after we swamp them boys in Iowa. We've looked good in Florida in our last few games down there in bowl games. Tennessee has been pretty consistent in bowl games, other than what the Purdue, where we kind of cheated out of that one. Tennessee performs in bowl games because when we're playing outside the conference, and you can see the level of competition is a little bit different in the SEC when it comes to those games. So 35-0 Tennessee swamps the Hawkeyes to get us on a good start for this upcoming season, get that transition, get Nico out there. We got to see the athlete this guy is, man. He can move, and I'm excited about that. That's what Tennessee needs, and that's what really a lot of people need nowadays. You see some of the top quarterbacks that are in the nation now aren't just true pocket passes anymore, right? Your Michael Penixes, your Bo Nixes. These guys can move out of the pocket. Your Caleb Williams. These guys can move out of the pocket, and that's what makes them more dynamic because it opens up the field for you. You stretch out the plays, it opens up the field. Like it's in backyard ball. Think about it. You have 10 seconds to run around, 15 seconds to run around. Somebody's going to get open. Right, it's hard to cover somebody for more than 4 or 5 seconds. So you have 10 seconds out to run around. Somebody's going to open. He gives us that option now with his legs to be able to stretch out the plays, be able to stretch out the field. They have to end up spying somebody down to watch him. That's one less person covered right there, and that's going to open us up. You notice we didn't do a whole lot of the screen passes and stuff. We were more dynamic with him. We let him stretch it out. So, and that's what we have to offer with Nico in Tennessee, and I'm excited for it. And I could see him being our MVP right there. I hope you guys also watched the Pop-Tart Bowls, or it's asked me as it felt right. The Pop-Tart Bowl, people talking about being edible, and they keep I don't know these silly names of the games nowadays. The bowl games have always kind of been funny to me. Some of the names they come up with for these games, but no, I like the Pop-Tart Bowl, Kansas over NC State. That's another game I'm looking out for, NC State this year. People, you never know. I'm not worried about it. There's a lot of gimme. I'm not going to say any game's a gimme game. Sorry, that's disrespect. There's a lot of games on the schedule next year that I'm looking at. I'm like, oh yeah, we should get a dub there. Oh, yep, another one there, another one. There's about 6 games on our schedule. I'm like, I don't think there's going to be too hard at all. Nobody's a gimme because a few years back, Vandy did beat us in our rough time. But there's something to look out for. That we got some games that might not be too hard on our schedule. I'm excited about it. But no, that's about it for today. I'm glad you guys stopped by for the few minutes we had. Again, if you didn't see it, I'm rocking the I'm Possible by Sheldon Covington and Jada Covington right there. There's a great little brand, and it's these guys and gals are doing their thing over there with their merch company. And check me out again on Vol for Life Uncensored. Make sure you get in there and get your opinions out there because it's uncensored. It isn't a freedom of speech almost to an extent. There's an extent to all freedom of speech, but you get your opinion in and you have good conversations with folks at the end of the day. So make sure you check us out, Vol for Life Uncensored. I am Tom from Bros with Mics. Again, Cody Wool is out. He is feeling a little under the weather, but he'll be back soon enough, and we wish him a speedy recovery because COVID is a mother, and we all know how that feels, man. So Tom, Bros with Mics. Have a blessed one, y'all. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace. Me and my